Hey, welcome back to the Big Red Zone. We are very excited for today's show. Remember, new episodes come out every Thursday. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Big Red Zone. And tell a friend. This week is the 3-year anniversary episode, and we got special guests, plural, in the Zoom call. I was going to say in the studio, but in the Zoom call. We got original OG host, James, in the building, and we also got the producer John in the building.
Howdy.
Oh man,
sorry.
he's here.
I didn't know
It's
you're
all
still
right.
doing your intro.
I'm still doing the intro. It's fine. You've
ahead.
been away from the.
He broke the fourth wall.
My bad. Tell a friend.
No, tell a friend. Tell a friend about the show. We're gonna talk to them about the 3-year anniversary. We're gonna talk about what they've been up to since over the last couple months, and we'll also get into week 1 of the NFL season. All that and more in this week's episode of the Big Red Zone. Welcome to the podcast. This is the Big Red Zone. I'm your host, Big Red. As always, I am joined by Danny Football.
Off to a hot start.
Hot start. And today we have special guests, James and producer John. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Yeah, Big Red just chewed me out for interrupting. He cut it out, but he screamed at me.
Yeah, I did. He signed an NDA about talking about it, so he just broke that rule.
So there's only one person that can talk during the cold open. It's my fucking name on the show.
You see this? Do you see this right here? I'll put it right here. Do you see this sign right here that says Big Red Zone? All right. Well, we all like each other. You can honestly see. How's everyone been?
Been good. How about you?
Good. Producer John, how's everything going?
Solid up until like recently, but
You mean like 2 minutes ago when we started the podcast recently? Or
I was gonna say like
further out than that.
I was gonna say around 2 weeks ago, but I'm
2 weeks ago. So I mean, if you want to start the ball rolling, I was gonna say what you guys have been up to, and it sounds like you've been up to quite a lot.
You want me to roll this ball?
I mean, we'll start with James. It's all right. You were itching to start this pod, so I thought you would start the ball rolling. You don't have to. James, what have you been up to since we last saw you?
Don't mind me. I'm just dying laughing over here. No, I've been good. Things were really good. I've just been really busy with work, and just been really busy trying to get my music projects kind of going right now. Getting a new studio built, which is kind of fun. Fun fact, people, when you're doing it yourself, it takes a lot longer than what you think. You're like, oh yeah, I can totally just build a new building and do it. It's not gonna be. You don't do it. I don't recommend.
You're building a new studio?
Basically, so on the property we have like a couple like old horse barns and stuff like that. Basically, I'm tearing one base almost completely down and going to be turning into, so it's going to be like just shy of 1,000 square feet.
Oh wow.
I have a few different rooms and stuff like that, and yeah, I'm going full out with it. So
I was gonna say, it looks like you have one right now.
I wish it was this nice. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, Jesus Christ, I wish. But no, things have been good. In terms of sports stuff, I finally had the time to like really get into a lot of the automotive sports. So like I'm heavily into like Formula One, rallycross, and a little bit of the GT racing. A few buddies and I got together. Even though we do it online, we do a lot of competitive against like proper race instructors and drivers stuff. We do competitive racing and whatnot. We just did a 24-hour race like 3 weeks ago.
Jesus.
So that was kind of bananas, but
24-hour race.
Yeah. So it works. It's kind of, dude, it was nuts. We had 4 of us. We work as a race team and basically swap out every 3 hours. And
then what do you do? Do you sleep for those 3 hours? You're not, what do you mean?
So how it works, it's kind of nuts, but like you race for 3 hours, but the guy that's going to take over for you comes on an hour and a half before you to kind of be your spotter and coach you through the last hour and a half. Cause like you might think, getting a regular car, like that's easy to drive 3 hours, but driving on a racetrack with like 50 other people trying to go as fast as you possibly can, you get fatigued after a while. So you need someone to like talk to because you go insane. Like imagine like if after like 2 hours just staring at a thing being like, I'm turning left, turning right, brake, gas, like after a while you just lose your mind. But it was a fun time. We all had a great time like joking around, and we did well for the first time racing as professionals. So like I had a great time, but
Wow.
it's kind of nuts. It's a weird hobby to get into, I know, but
I'd trust James to drive me anywhere.
oh yeah.
Virtually, physically,
Emotionally.
emotionally.
I was gonna say,
Jeez.
there's a third way I'd trust him too. Well, that's very cool. I know you were talking about gearing up for it. I don't know if we've talked about it since, but I know you were gearing up for that race, so that was kind of cool that everything went well with it.
Oh yeah.
And we also had our fantasy football draft in our league, the league
Yep.
I run, and also the BRZ league. So
I love
fantasy
getting
league.
absolutely trounced week 1. This has been great. Off to a great start.
Welcome to the club.
Oh, yeah. Wait, did you
man.
not have a good week 1?
Depends on what league you're looking in.
Oh.
Of his 10 leagues.
I'll tell you, the Cowboys definitely, the Cowboys game definitely hurt. We'll talk about them in a little bit, but that game really hurt me. I think I was down. I just had to have Zeke outscore the Cowboys defense by 4, and he didn't do that.
No.
So that was tough. And then Dak getting 4 points really hurt the cause. So I need a Cortland Sutton showcase today to help me get me over the hump in a different league. So it's tough. There's a lot of highs and lows in the first Sunday of the NFL season for Big Red. I was one moment I was riding the highs, and I hit the lows during Sunday Night Football. So we'll see if I can pull out a victory tonight with the Broncos game. But Producer John, I mean, we were joking, but what's been new since we last? It's been a little longer since we last saw you. We didn't we haven't seen you since, I think, your final episode.
emotional
I think
send-off?
the emotional like retirement send off a couple I think last 2 seasons ago.
I'd like to thank Jared Haben for his goodbye.
Shout out Jared Haben. We'll tag him in the post.
Yeah, things were kind of crazy. So I left I stepped down kind of because like Lumberland got busy and whatever. And then, I don't know how many viewers knew about the Lumberland stuff, but yeah, doing good things over there, or was doing good things over there. Haha, oops. And me and Dante, friend of the pod, I believe, unless you don't like him.
Definitely friend of the pod.
Okay. I'll let him know.
Good terms.
He's fine. And, but so we started the separate wrestling channel, Mustache Bros Wrestling. That went kind of cuckoo dummy crazy. And then things came to an end, unfortunately, over at Lumberland. But BRZ exclusive news.
Oh,
Keep an eye out, baby.
keep
Keep
an
an eye out. I can't say
okay.
much. I can't say much. However, what can I say? When's this coming out?
Thursday morning.
That's fine. Dante and I are probably starting something on our own.
Oh, that's cool.
I didn't, so
hey, I hope you do.
Yeah,
I hope something's in the
if
cards.
we do it, we're gonna try to make it solo dolo independently on YouTube and all that stuff. So it's gonna be interesting.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Dante just announced also, shout out to him. He's going out with Clutch Sports too, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he just announced that today, and then he teased, which is the reason I can tease it. He teased like a little wrestling future thing at the end. But yeah, so that's gonna be like, because I don't have a job now, and he just started that, and I'm kind of saying we can't swear. I've already sweared, but we're kind of saying screw it on
you can say whatever you want.
But yeah, so I'm kind of saying screw it and gonna ride for a few months and just try to do YouTube full time while I have the time. And if in like 2 or 3 months it works out and I'm back to like a full-time salary off of YouTube, then bada bing, bada boom, we're cruising.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I can see you
and
doing that.
yeah. And like I saw the numbers we were doing on Mustache Bros Wrestling, and like we were, doing well. So it's like if we can just do that on our own, bada bing, bada boom. And
Very
then
cool.
beside that, I was dropping music. I think I dropped 2 or 3 or 4 songs since being on. So that's still going. Spotify numbers are really good. So yeah, just a lot of growing.
Very good. Very good.
70,000 on 77,000 on TikTok is, I don't know.
Well, that would be awesome. I know the Mustache Bros was like one of the highest rated things on their YouTube page. So that's
the highest rated thing.
the highest. I'm trying to be nice to your former employer. But yes, it was my favorite thing to watch on Lumberland.
By a mile, the most popular thing for sure.
Yeah. I'm happy that you guys are because I saw a lot in the comments of like different videos that were posted that some of the viewers were hoping that you guys would go out and do something. So that is in the cards and in the works.
It's in the cards. Look out next couple of weeks. We don't have I can't say nothing yet.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to announce whatever we're gonna announce.
Very cool. Well, we are excited to hear when you announce them. Now, this is the 3-year anniversary. That's why we have this reunion. And I think this is the first time since Zach was last a guest in the old barn that all 4 of us had been on the same episode.
How many times did you guys get COVID? Reason that made me think of it is because I feel like when I think of the pandemic, I think of like Big Red Zone. Not in like a bad way, but because like the majority no. The majority because like the majority of the growth and the majority of like the in the barn work and like all that stuff like was at the beginning of the pandemic and just trying to like figure that out. And that was the first time we hopped on Zoom and then coming off of Zoom and going back to in person and like, you know what I mean?
And back to Zoom.
And then back to Zoom. But I don't know. It was something that I don't know if you were leading up to something. I kind of stole your thunder, but yeah, it kind of helped me. It gave me something to do. It gave me a work to do, and it gave me But go on, I won't steal your thunder. Lead up.
No. This is like an open forum. I just came out with. I was thinking about that when we were preparing for the episode. That we've had episodes where, obviously Zach, John, and I have been on an episode. We've had since that day, and we've had episodes where Zach, myself, and James was on an episode last season, and then we've had every combination, but we haven't had the 4 of us on an episode in probably I want to say close to 2 years. Who's your favorite guest that we've had on the show that you were a part of, I guess, or as a fan? I mean, both of you have been. I mean, James has been on the show a couple times, like through the draft videos and as a guest. So he's got to see some more guests come on the show. But is there a certain guest that you've seen that maybe you weren't on the show for, or that you were on the show for that stands out?
Underrated. So I mean, obviously Jared's the easy one.
He's your hero.
He's like my big brother. He's taught me everything I know. But he won't follow me back on Instagram. Anyway, I forget his name, but the former Patriots player we interviewed, he was like on his phone in the car.
Oh,
who was that?
Garrett Davis.
He was sick. Like one, it was like a funny and chaotic like interview because he was like in his car on his phone, but
doing
like
errands.
Yeah, he was running errands and like he was like in a car wash. Like one like that was like the funniest interview because like the situation, but also like, but I remember like because he was like still like talking and answering, like he had some really like insightful stuff. I think you talked to him about like Bill and Tom and stuff, and yeah, I think he was an underrated guest.
Yeah, definitely. I thought you were gonna say Ty.
Ty was fun.
Oh,
Ty was fun.
Oh, I forgot about
that. Was
Ty.
mine.
Ty was sick.
That was cool.
Wow.
Dude.
What is he doing?
I think he's playing football. coaching. I see posts on Instagram.
Ty Schwab.
James, who's yours?
That it was between Ty Schwab and who your other friend that came on. Not I want to say his name is. It wasn't Andrew. It was
Andrew May, pro golfer.
no the I wish I remember his name. But
give me an occupation.
He oh geez, I'm just gonna have to look him up. Give me a second. I feel so bad because I didn't expect this question.
Baseball?
No, he was he was up in the barn, came in person.
Jack,
that's who it was.
Or
I had a
Dave.
great time with Jack. I remember that day.
Jack or Dave?
No, Jack.
Was it Jack? Jack.
It was Jack. Yeah.
Jack's always
that was a fun one.
Yeah.
We got a lot of TikTok clips out of that episode. I remember that.
It was funny. He had a couple of hot takes.
Him and actually Dave, we got a bunch of TikToks out of those two, and that was like when we were starting to like hit the groove too, because we were like back in studio right after like in the lull of the pandemic. We were actually putting out episodes in the barn.
Because Dave's was like the first TikTok a year of like the shows to go like it went decent, right? Didn't they get like 500,000?
Yeah, that one did well, but the first one was Dennis.
Oh,
yeah.
Cliff, yeah.
Oh, fuck, I forgot. Oh, he's a good one too.
Yeah. We had some good ones.
Jeez, I'll have to go back and like look at the especially the Ty Schwab episode. I remember that being hilarious.
Yeah, he was that was when I think the Madden rankings came out that day. So we were like going over Madden rankings. Like we were talking about like Brady's ranking and stuff. I think Gronk's rating and stuff like that. And I think he said something like he broke some kind of news on the podcast. I think I think it was him that broke the news.
Oh, you're right. What was that?
I forget what news he broke. But
the second he said that, we were like, "That's the video. That's the TikTok. That's the."
I can't remember what news he broke, but he broke some kind of news on the podcast. Danny Football, do you have a favorite guest?
I'm gonna go with Kev from Big Brother, just because of
that was
he
a
was
great
chaos.
One. Fuck.
From the moment the episode started, we couldn't even do an intro.
Start it soon enough.
Yeah, we just we're like trying to get into it. Say, hey, we're gonna set this up and we're gonna go in and then we'll just let you go. He just was going. So I think we just said, Zach, just start recording, and then we'll just get to it later. And it was literally, I think, about an hour and a half, 2 hours of just pure fun, chaos, and
I like that he called us all. He's like, look at these handsome gentlemen. He called over, he called over his daughter and was like, look at these handsome guys.
Look how handsome these guys are. That was in a lot of.
That's a good one.
Yeah, he's
Is he in video form or was he just audio?
No, he's in video.
No, he's in video form. That was a Zoom one, but it was a good one.
Right.
Oh
wow.
I think his slam dunk contest story was probably my favorite.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, because I never knew that about, like, obviously I knew him from Big Brother, but I never knew he was a slam dunk. He's won like 6 slam dunk contests in his life, he was saying, or something like that. And how he met Prince and knew Prince and knew DJ.
Mr. Massachusetts.
He's Mr. Massachusetts. It was just like one thing after it. It was like the most interesting man in the world. It was pretty cool to hear.
What was his name again? I'm looking for it on YouTube. What was his name?
Kevin.
Right, Kev. What's his last name?
I think it's Schreiber or something like that. I can't pronounce it.
Oh, there it is. I see it. Yeah. Episode 72.
It was a good one.
Wow.
But yeah, those were the ones you mentioned are pretty much like all the guests that we had a good time with. I mean,
were there any that we didn't mention that you had in mind?
Yeah, I would say, Mike Soares was fun because we got to do the all-time series with him. The Lonnie Paxton one was cool just because he was won the Super Bowl, so that was kind of like a cool one. Dave's was fun. Now it's kind of cool. Like, one of our first guests on the show was Jake Fishman.
Right.
Now he just made it to the big league. So we had future major league pitcher come on our podcast, which was, and also we had Zach Short come on, who made it to the big leagues last year. So it was kind of cool that we had two major league level players come on before they were in the big leagues. So that was kind of a cool, those were cool guests because we got to see them kind of young in their careers, and now they're, they're still young in their careers, but they're just starting to make it, So
those Aaron Golub was cool.
Aaron was great.
Oh yeah.
Dante Toro.
Yeah.
You're just going through the guest list right now.
I'm just looking at the YouTube page.
Raspy Taylor was a good one.
He was fine. The golf video.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Classic. The draft videos have been fun. Shameless plug right now. You can find our draft video on our YouTube page, Big Red Zone, that just was posted today, which is Monday. So go check it out from this year. It was a good one, our last one. So it was a good time with the fellas last week. I guess before we move on to talking about week one, and finish honoring the 3-year anniversary. You guys obviously know, because I've talked to you both about it. This is our final season of the Big Red Zone, and hopefully we can get you guys on again, like at least one more time for the rest of the, before the end of the season. But what is looking on it so far, and I know we got a little bit, Danny Football and I always say we got a little more left in the tank, a couple more stops to make on the last ride. What do you think is the biggest moments, or is there any I don't know how to say it. Is there anything? Is is there
defining
any
moment?
Defining moments? See, Danny Football's been on it the last 2 weeks.
You can't catch the words. It's all right.
I can't finish the saying, but Danny Football's got me to
slam
it home. Is there any defining moments or things that you'll remember lasting from the pod over the last 3 years? And then obviously we got some more moments to make for the rest of the season. But
for me, it's probably always going to be the lead up and the day of the golf video. Because the lead up was kind of funny. We're all laughing and talking, and we were all talking about, are we going to practice playing golf? Are we not? And we ended up showing up to the day, and we're both terrible. We both should not be allowed on, playing a golf, and just had a good time, and had a good time with friends, and ended up having a funny video. But it was just really just spending good time with good friends, and I'll always enjoy that day, even though I did not enjoy shaving the beard, but it was the price worth paying,
But also how miserable the last 5 or 4 or 5 holes were, because we were why did we do 18?
That was pretty ambitious.
I think we only did 9.
No
way.
We only did 9, dude.
No
it was a
way.
long, grueling 9. The last 3 were brutal. We only did 9.
Wow, you're probably right.
I'll be honest with you. I was done with it after 2. I was like, bro, this is bad.
The moment when we were done, I could tell, and in the video you could see me. John kept it in. I was like, James is ready to throw the club. That was when I knew James was done with it, and it was after. I'll tell you what it was when I knew we were starting to this is it. We're done with it. It was after we went around, the main part, and the course brought you back to the hut. And then you had to drive through the parking lot and go to that course where James hit a ball onto the street. Starting that hole, it was I could tell everyone was all right, we're kind of done. Then we got to the hole, did the whole, we did the funny bit about the ball going over the street. And then that next hole, John even says it. And he says, what par is this? He goes, and Ame goes 5. It's jeez. That hole right there, the hole after the street ball, that was when everyone was done, and we still had 2 or 3 more holes to go after that. That was I had a good time with that day. That was fun.
I'm pretty sure that hole we were both 10 strokes at that one.
Yeah, we both got a 10 on that hole.
We couldn't hit it more than 25 yards a hit, maybe 50. But
or we shanked it, and then we just kind of we just wanted to get through with it. But
thankfully, I think we've both gotten better since then. Thankfully.
Yeah, I've played a little bit since then. I'm not gonna say I'm any Tiger Woods here, but I feel like I can get through 9. So, John, we just heard from James. What is your what's something that you'll take away always from the first 3 years of the? That's crazy to say 3 years of the podcast. What do you think is from the 3 years we've done the podcast? What is there anything you take away from it, or favorite moment, or defining moment, as Danny Football said?
Well, I guess like besides like the obligatory cool to see you guys building this and the ups and the downs, and like besides all like the guys being dudes and friends doing something bigger than themselves. But in terms of like a moment, I think we might have we talked about on like air about like almost getting recruited for that TV show?
Yeah, we talked about that.
We talked about that?
Yeah, that was a cool experience.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I don't remember that.
No, it was like right. I think
it was right after you left.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
okay.
right during the transition thing, and then like some lady DM'd. I guess we already told the story, so I'll just kind of be quick. But like some lady DM'd us, and at first we thought it was like a bunch of crap, and we started getting into it. And long story short, it was like, she's like a TV producer or whatever, and she was like, "Oh, I'm looking for like two sports fans or whatever." And we went through like, was it 2 or 3 like casting roles to be casted for this like reality. She described it as like a reality treasure hunt show where a certain WWE superstar would host it. And so I kind of hyped up like, oh, like I'm a wrestling fan, and Steve talked all about being a Boston fan and da. And then so we made it pretty far. I think we got it through the first like 2 rounds of the initial casting, and then I forget what happened. I think wasn't it like they like sold it to the network, and then it was then up to their casting director or whatever?
Something like that, or like the show was like in limbo or something. I remember the show was in limbo, and I think we thought it was this other show that came out that you said it was like just wrestling, but there was another show that was exactly the same, but just general like treasure hunt of sports things that came out or was advertised like last year.
Oh.
And I think that's what it was, because I think like either Cena or The Rock hosted it.
Oh, that's probably
or someone.
it then.
I think it was. I forget who was the host. It was like one big WWE superstar, was the host. But I was like, because I remember when we first saw it, we thought it was this wrestling one specific, and then they did a general one. So that was kind of cool. That the podcast, for a couple guys that never played sports, professional sports, or didn't have that big of a following started, we got eyes of network people or casting people that for TV shows. I thought that was pretty, that's pretty cool and impressive.
Yeah, I agree.
So day football, is there a moment or anything, defining moment or time during these past 3 years that stand out to you?
I think it's probably not as crazy as it seems, but Jack calling Rob on the podcast will always stand out to me. That was just, it was too funny when he did that.
I remember, because we wanted to hear his take on the coward take.
I just don't like it.
What?
Okay.
I think it's mean. I think I have a lot of favorite memories over the past 3 years. But I think more like a general sense was, I think I like enjoyed every week the preparation, doing the different videos, doing the the drafts, doing the golf like we talked about, and doing it together. Like these 4 people in here did it, work together to make the product. And not bad for like I said, 2 guys like James and I, when we started, we didn't really know anything about making a podcast or doing it. We kind of just were making up as we go. And then John came in and helped us, really brought life into it and gave us like second wind to keep going. And then Danny Football came in at a time as a guest, but when he came on as a host, he kind of brought that same thing. He gave us some fuel to keep going too. And I like to look back at the different phases, I think, of the show, and the different, there's the first phase where we started, when John came in, then when Zach came in, and then, when over the last year or so, when John left and I had to learn all this other stuff, it's cool to see the growth. Like John talks about the growth of the show, and it's been a fun 3 years. I didn't make a 3-year video, so you don't get to watch it, but I figured we could do. I'll give you a video at the end of the season. So it's been a fun 3 years, as we say, Danny Football. The ride is not over yet.
Not yet.
We've got a few more stops on the road. So, but obviously we wouldn't be here these last 3 years without the people in this call. So, big thank you to you guys helping make the show what it is today. With that said, let's get into one of the this was the first segment I think we had on the very first episode, so only fitting. And it's the first time we've been able to do it in almost a year. So we're going to get into the first segment, Weekend Recap.
It's the Weekend Recap.
So for Weekend Recap, we usually pick 3 games, but I figured 3-year anniversary show, I think we should pick more. So we picked 4 games, one of which is the Pats game, which I know we don't really want to talk about anyways, but we'll have fun talking about the other games. So we're going to start off with the Steelers-Bengals game. Steelers won. I was very impressed. We talked about it last week, Danny Football and I, where, this team's kind of a question mark. We don't know what to expect from them because it's, the end of the Big Ben years. Who knows what the offense is going to look like. They lost Juju. Najee year 2, what's that going to look like? A bunch of new receivers. And, the offense did okay, but I think what was more impressive was the defense and how they made Joe Burrow look silly in the first half. So big 1-point win. First initial reaction, we'll start with Danny Football. What's your first initial reaction to seeing the Steelers beat the defending AFC champs?
I didn't get to see the finish of this game. Unfortunately, I was on my way to soccer, so I didn't get to see the toe tap by Chase, the missed extra point, and then the overtime. So my initial takeaways was Joe Burrow looking pretty bad in the first half. Like, I think it was 2 interceptions and a turnover with a fumble. So Joe Burrow was looking human in that first half. The Steelers defense was looking like the Steelers defense of old. Mitch Trubisky actually looked pretty decent. I know you have it in here that TJ Watt came up banged up, so we'll have to see how that goes. But that first half looks like a tale of, the Bengals with a hard Super Bowl hangover and the Steelers looking like they had something to prove. So it was a surprising first half. And then as I was kind of getting the information, as I was getting to soccer with, the Bengals came back to tie it, and then, the Steelers won it in overtime. It just sounded like a crazy game. So I don't know if you watched the end, you could probably lend more to that, but just from what I could see, it was a crazy game.
Yeah, I mean, their long snapper, shout out to Aaron Gall of the Milwaukee Paxton. We're a long snapper fan podcast. We love our long snappers. The Bengals long snapper got hurt in the game. So they went with their third string. They had to go with a backup, which was their third string tight end. And he could not snap the ball for his life. The first one on the extra point to win the game was late. And then that let Mika Fitzpatrick block it. The next one, he snapped it high because they had a chance to win it in overtime. Steelers defense got a stop. No, sorry, Bengals defense, I think, got a stop. They drove down the field, had a chance to kick a field goal, win the game. And he snapped it high. Laces were out. Finkel, what's that? Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. Go watch Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. That will change your life. But snaps the ball, laces out, and McPherson just shanks it left, not even close. And then the Steelers obviously get a chance to come down. They don't get it done. Bengals bring it down, have to punt. And for some reason, they don't waste down the clock. They still had like another 20 seconds on the clock, play clock. They punt it away, give the Steelers extra time, and then the Steelers come down and bang a field goal to win the game. So it goes to show long snappers are important in football. Gotta respect the long snappers. I don't know if any of you guys, John or James, you got a chance to see it or see any highlights of this game, is there any takeaways you see? Because I mean, the Steelers, I don't know about you guys, but when Danny Football and I were doing our preseason rankings, we didn't really have them on our radar at all. And this defense should make us keep an eye on them.
I just thought it was surprising that they got 6 sacks to the Bengals. None. Bengals didn't get any sacks on the Steelers. I think that was actually, like, in terms of defensively, that's actually pretty significant, especially when it comes to disrupting the flow and really disrupting what Joe Burrow was doing. But to be fair, like, if you look at it like offensive in terms of yardage, it's kind of crazy that the Steelers won with that Bengals absolute screw up at the end of it, considering the yardage difference. Like, Bengals with basically almost double the total yardage. Like, it's kind of surprising. They're going to be an offensive threat. Absolutely. It just depends on, will they keep making stupid mistakes and will they be able to cope with it defensively? But
yeah, I think some of it will even out with Joey B. Like, I mean, he looked more comfortable as it went on. And obviously that was a dime to Chase. He actually threw 2 to Chase. They said, I think they said Chase didn't get his feet down on the last one. I forget what happened, why the first time he scored didn't count. But then he scored that toe tapper in the end zone too. But I think some of that will come, but you're right. I think the defense is just unbelievable and elite, and that's going to be a tough thing to stop. And luckily the Patriots get to play that in week 2.
oh God.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Obviously we don't know what happened with TJ Watt, which when he came off the sideline, he said he tore his pec, which is not a good sign. So who knows what the defense kind of loosened up a lot once he came out, because he's just an unbelievable football player. But we'll see how that defense shakes out without him. But that defense is scary, and that's what's going to keep them in games. Like, the defense is just, Mitch Trubisky's not going to win you football games, but the defense is going to win you football games, and they're going to score points like they did on, they got the pick 6 on Sunday, and I have a feeling they're going to do that a lot more throughout the season. Any takeaways from you, John, on either the Bengals or the Steelers?
I did not watch it. However, former coworker Sophie is a big Steelers fan. So, for whatever reason. So yeah, is Big Ben still? Is he retired?
He retired this year. Or,
good. Fuck him.
mean, last year. Not a big Ben guy.
No.
They got Mitchie running the offense over there. Mitch Trubisky.
Let's go.
Big Mitch Trubisky guy out of John. You know who John's favorite quarterback is? I bet I can guess. I guess his favorite all-time quarterback.
Hit me.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Wrong.
What?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
No.
No, I don't know. I like Teddy Bridgewater. I really liked the quarterback that was on the fucking the XFL team. That was on the Houston XFL
PJ
team.
Walker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
PJ Walker.
What team's he on now?
I think he's still on the
Panthers.
Panthers.
Yeah.
See?
So I'd say in terms of the Steelers and Bengals game, I'm just a big PJ Walker fan.
Yeah, so where do you go from that? I guess all I could say based on that game is I'm a PJ Walker fan. Well said. That about wraps up everything about that game.
Yeah.
I mean the Bengals are going to be all right. I think they're going to be there in the end. I mean, that offense is just too stacked. But the Steelers, I think people need to watch out for them, because I think they're going to be right there at the end, and like for a wild card spot, or I think their division's pretty awful, right? Yeah, they're in the Ravens and the Browns. They're in the Ravens, Browns, Bengals. I think the Browns are not going to be that good, even though they won the other day. The Ravens always choke it away, and the Bengals, they'll be right there. But hey, they're 1-0 against the Bengals, so they already got the division lead. All right, let's move on to the next game. We got the Chargers Raiders. Danny Football's potential coach of the year, and Josh McDaniels did not start on the right foot. Derek Carr looked really tough, not in a good way. And they lost their first game, was it 24-19? I mean, Carr threw 3 picks, did throw two touchdowns, almost 300 yards, most of them which was to Devontae Adams, which you kind of had to figure that was coming. Look, these two teams are going to be there in the end. I think the Raiders are going to figure it out. I'm just kind of disappointed with some of the play calling and some of the things that they did, what the Raiders did. And I'm also a little nervous on the Keenan Allen injury for the Chargers. But is there any major things that stand out to you, Danny Football, about this first division win?
No, and I think this is a game we were talking about last week. These are two teams that we expected to be there late in the season. I thought Carr was going to play a lot better. Devontae Adams got his, but at this Chargers team, we talked about it last week too. Like, this is a dark horse team with Herbert. Cam Akers didn't even factor into the game. I don't know what I'm talking about. Cam Akers. Austin Eckler got his. So these are, two division rivals going at each other week 1. Plenty of season left. These guys are going to see each other again. It was a great game. But yeah, I was surprised that the Raiders kind of came out flat and the Chargers took it from them. So this is the Chargers coming out party. I don't know, but it was a great game.
James, is there any takeaways that you had? I know you're a big Devontae Adams guy, so I know, in past years with drafting and stuff like that. I think you drafted Jefferson.
No. Yes.
But is there any takeaways that you got from that game?
It was just kind of sad that Derek Carr threw 3 picks. That kind of really stunted what the Raiders could do. But it's crazy looking at statistically, like, we knew it was going to be a close matchup, but looking at all the data, like, I didn't get to watch this live because I was busy, but dude, looking at all the data, like, it is nuts how close both these teams are. Like, I can't wait to see how they both do in the rest of the season. Like, even in stats, like third down efficiency and total plays and everything and first downs, like, they're almost identical. So I wonder who's going to come out on top by the end of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be a close. I mean, their division's tough, but I agree. I completely agree. That's going to be. We were talking about it the last 2 weeks. That division is going to be a tough division to play in. And every time they match up during the season, they got to try to come out with a win. So, I mean, looking at it, we're going to find out in a little bit here with Monday Night Football how the Broncos look with Russell Wilson. But all 4 teams are a threat to make the playoffs in my eyes.
I didn't get to watch it. Who was the home team
in this game here?
Yeah.
The Chargers. They played in.
Oh, wow. So the Raiders have a chance to rally with a home game. Okay.
Yeah.
I actually would have put that on my radar to watch it for the next game. That might be a really good game.
Yeah, I could see them splitting. I mean, I think I picked Justin Herbert to be my MVP. I think I picked Justin Herbert, right? I picked Justin Herbert to be the MVP in my way too early awards. I think I did.
So.
And I think this is the first game of his coming out party to just run away with the MVP. He's just so good. In him leading his team to the playoffs is going to be huge. So, yeah, I mean, these teams are going to be back and forth. It'll be interesting to see what happens with these two teams going through. Next time they play, in Las Vegas, and also as they play the other teams in the division. So we'll have to see. But as I said, I think both these teams are going to be in the playoff hunt come December, January.
Yep.
Any closing thoughts on that game, John?
I picked Justin Herbert first overall.
I know you did. Not first overall. It was in the first round, right?
Oh, that's what I mean. First round.
Yeah, first round in the draft. I think Jamar Chase went first over. That's a huge keeper league. Like no first round picks really were available in that league. But yeah, you got. I know I was mad about that because I wanted Herbert in that league. But
that's about it. I keep on keeping on getting me those wins. I'm on track for a week 1 win. We'll see how those power rankings look, huh?
I know I do power rankings in our other league, so we'll see. John, you were up there at the start. I think you were second place after the draft, right?
I got a good team.
You got a good team. What can I say? It shows every Sunday. You know what I mean? And Thursday and Monday.
We just go to work.
Sometimes Tuesday when I do the power rankings. Sometimes it doesn't show up on the power rankings. Sometimes it does.
Well, that's
You
that's the creator's fault, but
um, our next game that we want to talk about before we talk to about the Pats was my pick of the week last week, and it wasn't the game I was hoping for, but both of us, Danny Football's team won. Obviously, he picked the Bills, and that game wasn't close. We would have talked about that game, but pretty embarrassing showing from the Rams. Super Bowl, you weren't kidding of Danny Football last week when you picked them. The Super Bowl hangover was for real. They looked like they wanted to be anywhere but LA. They looked terrible. But Bucs win against the Cowboys. It was a battle of a defense, so I thought it was going to be like a 30 something game. You know what I mean? I thought it was going to be double digits. It really was a battle of defense. Brady gets one touchdown, but really it was all field goals for the most part. Dak looked bad. He got hurt, so he's out for a couple weeks. He has to have hand surgery. They barely used Zeke. I don't know what this offense is doing. They look like they were hurting for offensive weapons after losing Amari Cooper. I'm the Cowboys. I had a little higher on my preseason rankings. I think they dropped to the bottom now. I don't see it where they're going to go from here. The Bucs, I think, are just going to continue to figure it out. Julio Jones looks good. He looks like Julio Jones of old. That offense is just electric. Even though it wasn't really a Brady day, it was more of a Leonard Fournette game. I think they looked good, and the Bucs looked impressive. I think they're going to be there. I think they're as advertised, and right now, I think they're the best team in the NFC.
Yeah, as a Zeke owner, I wasn't too happy, but as a Julio Jones owner, I'm optimistic. This was not the shootout of a couple of years ago where these guys are kind of trading offense back and forth. Definitely more of a defensive game. Brady's going to be Brady. It sucks that Dak got hurt. That just kind of kills the Cowboys' chances, I think. Even if he didn't get hurt, like you said, the offense looked kind of broken at that point. I don't know why they weren't using Zeke, but they weren't. So Bucs get a win, keep the momentum, and that NFC East is wide open, man. I don't know who's coming out of there now.
Yeah, I thought when we were doing preseason rankings, I said it was without a doubt the Cowboys. I thought they were like a couple tiers, I thought they'd be right on that that third or fourth tier. They look terrible. Jerry Jones is probably very upset. His team's not gonna only stink, but he's also gonna have the second biggest TV in the American football, the National Football League, after we get our new big screen by the Lighthouse, which I'm sure he's not too happy about that. And they just look bad. The Cowboys, I'm all out on the Cowboys. I was talking to Danny Football before we got on. I'm trying to trade Zeke, get out of Dak, the Dak roster, and just going to try to stay away from Dallas Cowboys people because they are terrible. Except for the defense. Defense actually looked not too bad. They got they got stops when they needed. They needed some help with the offense side of the ball. James or John, do you have any takeaways from the Bucs Cowboys game?
I mean, the thing that struck me, I was only able to watch the highlight reel for this, but 10 penalties for 73 yards, and it just seemed like the Cowboys were just sloppy. Anything offensively. Now, granted, it does really suck that, as you said, that Dak got hurt. And they did show some life defensively, don't get me wrong, but really 10 penalties for 73 yards out of a team that, they were hoping to go somewhere this year. That just seems just so sloppy to me.
Yeah,
they should be like, what are they doing? And their third down efficiency was terrible. So they couldn't really make plays happen when they wanted to. And did they ever give a reason why they weren't using Zeke? Because that still confused the hell out of me.
They didn't. Tony Pollard, I think, got two less snaps than four less carries than Zeke, which was not too. It's kind of alarming if you're Ezekiel Elliott fantasy football guy, because you would think Zeke would get more than 10 carries. I didn't. Some people might say they were down, but I mean they weren't down that much for most of the game. It was like they had a field goal in the first play of the game, and it was a 6-9-3 game for most of the game. So I don't know why, but that is alarming if you're a fantasy football Zeke guy. And if you're a Cowboys fan, because if they're not using their best player on their roster, that's pretty alarming. John, any final thoughts on Tom Brady getting his first win of the season?
Needs more fantasy points. I also have Tom Brady on my fantasy team.
On a one quarterback league, he's rolling. He just wants he wants to go after number one bench quarterback of the week.
I'd be fine with that. He's got to pick it up.
Yeah, he's got to pick it up. And obviously, let's move on to our final game: the Pats versus Dolphins. I really don't. It's just gonna make me upset and mad. I don't really want to talk too long about this because it was just an awful game. But they lose 20-7. I want to say 14 of those points are on two blown plays. Yeah. I mean, the touchdown at the end of Waddle was just embarrassing. At the end of the first half was embarrassing. And then that the O-line, Matt gets hit from the blind side, fumbles, and they get a touchdown. Like when they're on the 5, they just kind of pick it up and roll into the end zone. You spot them 14 points in the NFL. That's not really, you're not setting yourself up too well. The rest of it, I think I tweeted out, there was a little bit of a ref show, but we just played awful. I mean, they missed the pass interference at the beginning, but they bailed you out when we scored the touchdown, when they gave you the PI and got the touchdown. We just played awful. I don't know what. I mean, I know we complained about Josh McDaniels' play calling, but at least I trusted a lot more than Matt Patricia's play calling. I mean, Damian Harris had 48 yards and Stevenson had 25 yards. They're pretty even on carries, but I mean, a lot of their carries were go 2 yards into the line and then fall. There wasn't really much going there. Mac's decision making was a little off. I think he missed a lot of throws. They didn't use Kendrick Bourne, which he plays one snap, gets a 41-yard completion down the sideline. I think they got to use him way more. Juwanno Smith was a beast when you gave him the ball. They couldn't bring him down. I mean, I was watching it with someone and they said reminded them of Gronk days when it took 5 guys to take the tight end down. So like to see them use Smith more, but I think it's more the same that we've been talking about for the last 2 episodes, where the Pats didn't do it. Bill didn't do anything to replace the holes that we had, and we just got more holes. And it showed. The linebacking core was slow, defense was slow, especially towards the end of the game. When what's his name went out, who was the safety? When the safety got hurt,
Adrian Phillips.
Yeah, when Phillips got hurt, that the next play was when they broke open the touchdown at the end of the half. It's just an embarrassing look. And I mean, we were feeling okay, confident, but not too confident about this team. I feel even worse after watching this week 1, and they're about to go in. I think are they going to Pittsburgh? Yeah, they're going to Pittsburgh next week. I don't feel good about Pittsburgh. Feels good after coming off a big win. I'm not scared of Mitch Trubisky, but I am a little nervous about that Steelers defense. So I am not feeling too good at this moment about our New England Patriots.
Yeah, rough game. That interception on the first drive was a backbreaker. The offense actually looked pretty good. They were driving. I don't understand a 50-50 ball to Devontae Parker, despite the PI. That's just not a ball he's going to be able to go up and get. So I thought it was a bad pass. So you have that interception, comes down, turns into a field goal. Next offensive possession is a punt. Next offensive possession is that fumble return. And then you have the Waddle touchdown at the end of the half. So really just an absolute disaster of a first half between the pick, you punt, and then it's a fumble return. You pretty much handed their defense all the points. Ty Montgomery had a roll into the end zone to get us a touchdown. And then, Kendrick Bourne finally shows up. I don't know what Bill's problem is with keeping him out, but Kendrick Bourne shows up. It's a 42-yard bomb. And then,
see ya.
It's too much. It's too little too late. So it was frustrating. The defense actually looked, from my vantage point, I thought the defense actually was better than I thought it was going to be, considering Tyreek Hill is the fastest man on the planet. They contained him decently well, not great, but decently well considering who our who our secondary is. But dude, I thought, and I said it a couple weeks ago, I thought the offense was going to be far and away the better part of this team, and the offense looked absolutely lost, whether it was the run game, the passing game. Mac Jones had no time to throw. He got obliterated on that blindside hit. And now I don't know how bad his injury is, but he's banged up now and it's only week 1. So you talked about Bill not filling holes. This offensive line is terrible. The linebacking core isn't any faster than it was last year. The secondary surprised me, but if we're only putting up 7 points a game, we're not winning many games. So I'm worried.
Yeah, Mac, it came out today. I think Mac just has back spasms. I think he's going to be, he said he should be good for next week. But you're right. He can't stand the whole season if he's just going to get obliterated all like for 17 games. The secondary, what's that guy's name? Miles Bryant.
Miles Bryant, yeah.
He is awful. The only good defense he played was on the wide open interception of McCourty. He played defense on it. He knows how to play defense on his own team.
I don't know if Devin McCourty had an easier interception than he had right there.
It was basically like Tua was throwing McCourty the ball, and Miles Bryant was like, "No, thank you. I gotta deflect the ball one time," and then he got lit up the rest of the day. Yeah, it was a terrible game. Hopefully, like we said, and hopefully Pats learn from it and move on. Hopefully they use Kendrick Bourne a little more, but we're now going on almost 2 years that we haven't beat the Dolphins, which is kind of a pretty upsetting and nerve-wracking thing if you're a Pats fan. I know we're kind of running out of time, so I want to move on. And I'm glad you guys are in here because this is going to be the biggest. I think this is the largest segment that we've had of this. The next segment of the night we're going to do is picks of the week.
Picks of the week.
So picks of the week, we pick one game from the NFL season, the next NFL week. Danny Football and I are 1-0. We'll start with Danny Football. Who is your pick of the week?
We're going to double down on these Thursday games. We're going for another hard one. I'm going to go Chiefs over Chargers. Division game. Both teams look good, but Pat Mahomes, 6 touchdowns this last week?
Yeah.
It's looking like the Chiefs are back to being a juggernaut. So I think this is going to be a huge shootout, but the Chiefs are going to take it.
Yeah, I love how they said Pat Mahomes is going to get exposed this year, and he just continues to light it up. So I think that's a good pick. Producer John, what do you got? What's your pick of the week?
I'm going, because we just found out that Aaron Rodgers has been playing football on Percocets and shrooms his whole career. I'm going Packers over Bears.
Oh,
I like it. James, what do you got?
As much as it pains me to say this, I'm going to have to go Buccaneers over the Saints.
That's a Steve pick. That's a classic Steve. No, he usually goes Saints over Buccaneers.
I go the opposite way.
Yeah.
I was really wondering. Danny Football and I were talking about this. Should I at this point quadruple down on the Saints over the Bucs? I usually hit on this, but I am actually gonna decline. I'll let James have his mitts on that game all he wants. I'm gonna go with the Raiders beating the Cardinals. Cardinals are frauds. Raiders are gonna figure it out. They're at home. They are frauds. They're not a good team. Raiders are going to figure it out. They're home. They get their first win. Josh McDaniels gets his first win with the Raiders. And we can start that ball rolling in Las Vegas. So I'm going Raiders over Cardinals. So this is also exciting because this is our first time doing it this season. But we're also going to move on to our waiver pickup of the week. I will start. Age before beauty, as I always say. I'm going to go with Taysom Hill. Now, kind of a wild card. No one really really impressed over the first week, but Taysom Hill, I feel like, is that guy that he's just a juggernaut because he's not really truly a tight end, but he's also, he's a quarterback, tight end, wide receiver, running back, all in one. And, the first week, he's rostered in 3.9% of leagues. So you're going to be able to find him. He had one reception on one target, but the rushing yards is what makes him a difference maker. And he had 81 yards and a touchdown. So if you're looking for, in a league where tight ends are kind of hard to come by, and you're just like kind of looking for someone to stick on your bench and see if he makes a difference, I would go with Taysom Hill. I think that's a good, solid option.
Yeah, I like that. So I was actually surprised he was available in the Rob League.
Well, it's a good thing I'm losing in that league because I'm going to put a nice fat waiver claim in.
You better hope you're above me in the waiver order.
I'll live if I can't get him, but hopefully I can.
I'll give you a backup quarterback option though. I'm gonna go Marcus Mariota, owned in 3.9%. He's a starter. Are the Falcons gonna look good every single week? Probably not, but Marcus Mariota put up a good 19 piece this past week. So if you're looking for maybe a replacement for Dak or someone just to kind of stash away, might as well take Marcus Mariota.
John, do you have a waiver pickup?
So it was my strategy in our draft. Picked him up last round. If you don't have Robert Gronkowski on your team, scoop him up and I'll tell you what. Steve, ask me why.
John, why should they take Rob Gronkowski with their waiver pickup of the week?
Only an idiot would ask that, but I'll tell you why. Because he's going to come back either halfway through the season or later in the season because good buddy Tom is going to be like, oh, daddy wants a tight end. And then Rob's going to be like, well, you know what I'm saying? I'm on my way. So Rob's coming back. Get him on the waiver wire. You guys thought drop your Tyreek Hills or drop your TJ Watts. Rob Gronkowski. Or if you don't have Cooper Kupp on your team,
If rostered in too many leagues.
If he's on the waivers, he's a good one to get.
Can we also put I said this after watching the games. I don't know what you guys think. I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but is it time to say that Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the league?
I'm not going to argue with you on that.
Was that early in the season to say that?
I think he's the best wide receiver. I don't think it's close. I think he's unbelievable. I think he's the best. I know you can argue like Devontae's there, Cooper Kupp's kind of there, Chase is definitely creeping up, but what he's able to do. What did he finish with? He finished with like an absolutely ridiculous stat line. Let me just go to Matty P's team because we did an unbelievable draft for Matty P. Sorry, you had to be the first one to get that, Zach.
I'm the first victim. Of the Brain Trust team.
He had 9 receptions on 11 targets, 184 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's like gross. And just the catches he makes, it's just I think he's the best. I think he's the best wide receiver in the league. I'm willing to die on the hill.
I think you're picking it pretty early to die on that hill. I got to be honest. We've had one game. But we've had 2 or 3 seasons of Justin Jefferson. I think the jury is out now. I think he's the best. I think he's the best wide receiver in the league. I'll die on the hill. He's fine. Don't you have Justin Jefferson?
Do I?
No, I have.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
James has him in the BRZ league.
You think he's better than Cooper Kupp?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right there,
All
mister.
Right. Okay.
Is he better than Gronk? No.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. Gronk's not playing yet.
Yeah. Just a quick update too, because we mentioned it. First week in the BRZ league, it looks like I'm gonna beat Aaron Golub as long as everything goes well, and I can find a way to get. What do I need? I need 5 points, 5 more points out of Javonte Williams. Cross your fingers there, boys. Ame has beat Jared Haben. Danny Football. Jack looks like he's going to beat you. But don't call it over yet. It's too close to call right now. Hopefully, Cortland Sutton. I need Cortland Sutton to get 14 points, so hopefully he gets a nice 100 piece with a touchdown. James, you're in a highly contested battle right now with Andy, and it looks like Dave Griffin has a chance to. It looks like he's going to end up beating our good friend Rob. So, little week 1 updates for you for the BRZ League. So, without further ado, let's get into our last final segment of the episode, the People's Topic.
It's the People's Topic, baby! People's Topic.
So for People's Topic, you can write in our Instagram and Twitter page at Big Red Zone. Leave us a comment, give us a follow, let us know what you want to talk about. Up first, we have Maya, our friend Maya. She writes Jimmy G.
Yup.
He's
Dallas Cowboy.
yeah.
That's not a question.
Dallas Cowboy.
Yeah, that's a good point, Zach. I think he has a good chance to go to Dallas. I think Jerry Jones will try to scoop him up, especially with Dak hurt. He's the highest paid backup quarterback in the league. Little trouble in paradise too with Trey Lance.
Cheap starter.
The other funny thing is, do you think after game 1 of Trey Lance, do you think they're gonna be like, maybe we should hold on to Jimmy?
Depends.
We were
what you
winning
get
more
for
games
him.
with him. Yeah. Any thought? I mean, besides he's a handsome individual, John, do you have any other points to say?
Max Steezy isn't the guy. Bring him back. Bring Jimmy G home.
Oh no.
I'm happy with him going to staying in San Francisco or going to Dallas.
You'd rather Max Steezy over Jimmy Jeezy?
Yeah.
Fucking idiot. Wow, that's
James?
you run a sports podcast?
Yeah.
Hey.
You know,
You know what I want to bring back is the Undertaker for the 20th
Oh my
time.
God.
How dare you?
Did he unretire again?
No.
thank God.
I want Josh Gordon back.
Yes, I still have the jersey. Let's ride.
I'm fine with Josh Gordon coming back. James, any thoughts on Jimmy G?
I mean, that would be wild if he went to the Cowboys. Granted, I don't know if it changed their chances that much in terms of postseason, but it might give them a chance at some life. But I don't know where else he would go, to be honest with you. That would be, where else do you think?
I can't really see him going anywhere else.
You know,
To be honest, I don't see him going to I can't think of another place that makes sense.
because I'm looking through the list here just to see if I can find some justification for another team, and no.
Yeah.
It seems like every other team in the NFL is pretty much committed to their quarterback at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could say the Falcons, but the Falcons looked all right with Mariota. Jets, if depending on Zach Wilson's injury, maybe the Jets will be interested, but I don't see that happening. There's always that wild card Patriots pick that John knows something about, but we'll have to see. I'll look at
Nice. Johnny on the spot.
Johnny on the spot. Look up to him. Yeah. All right. The next one comes from Ed. He said, "Let's ride," and sent a picture of the Broncos game. Seahawks are up 7-3, which is pretty surprising for me.
Oh, wow.
Let's go. Riley says, "How much I lost in fantasy football?" Yeah, I did get blown out in fantasy football this week. I lost in that league. I lost 148 to 107.
Damn.
Oh,
I'd like to put most of that blame on. Well, I'm not over yet. Jerry Jeudy could still put up a 40 piece and I win, but I like to put most of that on Mike Williams getting 3 points, and then the other person just having you know what? Sometimes that happens. Don't overreact to week 1. That's all I can say. Don't overreact. Long season. Let's go with. This one's a video. They sent a video, so I don't know how this is going to come out. So I may just have to listen to it and then I'll say what the question is.
Hear me out. You talk about the Broncos. Now we're gonna ride today. Broncos 35, Seahawks 6. Gotta talk about the predictions.
Yikes.
Give me the preview of the game. I'll be tuning in.
Who is
Well, you're already off on that, Brett.
Yeah, I
Brett
was gonna
Schaub's,
say that's not aging well now.
Yeah, that you're not looking too hot on your prediction here. Let me tell you something. I hope the Broncos put up 35 points because I need Russell Wilson and Colton Sutton to have a day. I hope you're right, but I think you're a little off on your prediction here. And I'm not. I'm kind of my view on the Broncos is kind of going down right now, seeing how they can't beat up on a Seahawks team that really
Led by Geno Smith.
is led by Geno Smith himself. So, any thoughts on that prediction here?
I mean, it's a bad one. Like, I have to tell you.
By the way, thanks for writing in. I appreciate you, Brett, and everyone writing in with your people's topics. But I think all four of us are in agreement. The prediction isn't looking too good right now.
idiot.
No.
This one comes from Paige. Oh boy, get a big one.
Oh God.
All right, 3 years. Am I too late? Nope. I think you should start your podcast later so I can see these in time, catching me during my commute. Well, you know what, Paige? You know we write in every week. Just write in any time. You don't have to write in
Yeah, you
during
don't
this
have to wait
time.
until the
Just
day of.
give us do a little homework pregame and send us the day before or the morning of. She writes, do you listen to the episode after you release them? That's my question, even if I'm too late. Yes, I do, because I edit them. So I have to listen to the
Do
episode.
you guys just blindly throw it up there? Great question, Paige.
That's a great question. To answer your question, no, I do listen to it. And sometimes, depending on the episode, I listen to it again. It's funny. I was actually looking at, because I was trying to get stuff for the draft, the draft video and the commercial, which is on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Big Red Zone. I was watching the season 2 finale episode in studio with that was the first time John was on camera. I was watching that the other day. Just kind of popped up on my YouTube, and I was like, oh, I'll watch a little bit of it. And it's kind of cool to see that. So I do watch episodes here and there. I definitely listen to some of them, even after, sometimes months after. I listened to the Kevin one also like a few months later too, because I felt like I was missing stuff. Vicky, who is also a fan of the show, she writes, is there hope for the Pats this year?
No.
Oof.
Depends on what you mean hope. Do you mean to at least be enjoyable enough to watch? I think there is a little hope for there. If you think we're going to win the Super Bowl, you're crazy. As I said, I think we should be looking to win 9 to 10 games. That's a successful year for me. They play like they did on Sunday, they're not going to get to that.
No,
but
no.
I think that if they play the way that the roster is built right now, they can scrape together 9 wins. Zach, any hope?
Week 1, don't panic. Just like we said for fantasy.
Week 1,
don't panic yet.
John?
If you're not panicking yet, panic.
We're not panicking now. So we got 1 panic, 1 not panic, no hope, and a little hope. So that's a pretty balanced panel there.
Pretty even.
Even panel. All right, let's get into it. The last people's topic of the night, which is from our boy Joseph _ Celia.
The man himself.
Wow, I was gonna ask if he was still keeping on.
How much do you miss Joseph _ Celia, guys? Let him know, because he's listening right now.
Let him know.
How much does he miss me?
Ooh, great question.
Ooh.
Come on.
Has he
that-
missed a week? I don't think he's ever missed a week.
Couple times.
I think he's missed
Really?
a couple, but he
What the fuck, Joseph? Pick it up.
He sends it in. It's more that either I put it up late and then he sends it in after, but we just get it in the week following. So I take a little piece of the blame on that one. So Joseph _ Celia writes, I'm leaning towards a no for Mello. We didn't even talk about that. I'm leaning towards a no for Mello. how would you feel about using the trade exception on Rudy Gay? So for all those that haven't seen it, Celtics are looking for that final roster spot, rotation spot, after Gallinari tore his ACL. Looked like it was gaining steam that Carmelo Anthony was going to sign with the Celtics, be that 10th guy, rotation guy, and out of nowhere, the Celtics come out with putting some cold water on the situation, saying they have no interest in signing Carmelo Anthony. That was a little kind of a shock there. And now it's, people are saying, do we just stick with Sam Hauser? Do they sign someone else? But what's your take on it? Would you want the Celtics to sign Carmelo Anthony, or would you rather them go after someone else like Rudy Gay?
I would have taken Carmelo. I don't know what the Celtics know, whether it's a personality thing or just a general team fit. I don't know, but I would have taken him. I feel like Rudy Gay is just kind of in the same category. It's just that bench shooter, scorer. So honestly, anyone. It's not, again, Gallinari is great, but it's a bench piece. It's not like we lost any of our starters. So anyone who could just kind of fill the role. That's all I'm really looking for. The bench is still deep, so.
Yeah, I just want them to sign a veteran guy, a veteran, preferably.
Run it back with ISO Joe.
I'll take ISO Joe. I want a veteran forward that can score. That's what I want. I want a veteran scoring forward that will help with, he doesn't have to play, 20 minutes. If he gives me 15 and gets me, 6, I'm fine with that being the guy. But there's some guys out there. I don't know who's the fit. Obviously, Carmelo, they didn't feel like it was a fit. So I feel like Rudy Gay, you're right, is just in the same boat as that. So I don't know. And maybe you give Sam Hauser a chance to compete at the end of the bench. So, yeah, surprised, but it's not that big of a hit. And I wouldn't mind Rudy Gay. John, James?
Carmelo Anthony, widely known as the Jimmy G of the NBA. I want him to come home to Boston.
Come home?
Mm-hmm. Boston is his real home.
Boston is his real home.
I think it's more Denver.
Well, he was born. He was born in a Massachusetts hospital, and then he shipped out to the great D, Denver, Colorado.
We may need to fact check that one, but all right.
Where is he from?
He's from New York.
Yeah, he's from New York. He went to Syracuse.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't sound right.
That doesn't sound right. Definitely.
I think John's right. James, any do you got any take on that for me, or even just the hello to Joseph_Celia? You don't have anything to say,
dude? It's good. It's good that he's still here, though. To be honest with you, it's great. I don't know a whole lot about basketball, to be honest with you, so I don't have anything intelligent to add. But I'm glad he's still writing in questions. I'm glad he's still here.
Give Joseph_Celia.
I'm glad he's still alive.
I'm glad he's still listening.
Dude, he needs like a consistency award or something like that.
Yeah, what is he gonna do when the show is over?
He's probably gonna find. You know what? I'll send him your way hopefully he likes wrestling. I'll send him to the wrestling project that's coming out.
Let's go.
That news broke on the Big Red Zone. We've had a lot of breaking news moments on the podcast, so this just added to the list, I guess. So remember, you can write in our Instagram and Twitter page every week for the People's Topic at Big Red Zone. Make sure you give us a follow. You can also follow us on TikTok at Big Red Zone. But you can also find us on YouTube. Go check out the draft video right probably below this. And check out the rest of our podcasts. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can also find us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And please, would you like to do the honors, Producer John?
Unsubscribe. Please. Wait, what was it we used to say?
Tell a friend.
Oh, yeah.
Unsubscribe?
Tell a friend to leave a 5-star review. 4-star if you want to, but ideally 5.
Please tell a friend. 3 years in the books. We got a little bit more to go. I want to thank, as always, Danny Football for joining. And a big thank you to a couple of the founding fathers of the Big Red Zone.
We have the Mount Rushmore here.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, the Mount
We are
Rushmore.
the Big Red
Put-
Zone Mount Rushmore.
Put these 4 faces on a T-shirt for the Mount
Wow.
Rushmore, the
Yep.
Big Red Zone. That'd be something if we made a T-shirt when it
Yeah,
ends.
Photoshop.
I do have Photoshop. I can make a T-shirt. I don't know how to make a T-shirt. I can make a graphic for a T-shirt.
That's all
Someone
you
wants
need.
to
I mean, there's websites that you just send them the photo.
write it. I don't have time
No.
for that. Write in here, comment in the Instagram if you want to make us a T-shirt, or comment on YouTube, wherever you want to make. I'll give you the picture. You want to make a T-shirt. I don't know how many people are going to react to that one, but we'll see. I'll make one. I'll make one for you as a parting gift, I guess. But thank you, obviously, John and James, for joining. Hopefully we have you on again before the end of the season. And my thanks again to Danny Football, everyone listening. Have a great week, everyone.